Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You could win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, a woman celebrated her 100th birthday by going skydiving and then swimming with sharks. What are you going to do if you make it to 100?
Tony Kornheiser. Rule?
Well, that's how you celebrated the last few birthdays, and you know where we're at.
I would not go skydiving.
No,
I would not go swimming with sharks.
Why not?
Well, I don't know, just the notion that the sharks might turn on me and eat the limbs that were
your skin is so wrinkled at that point the sharks don't even think you have blood to draw.
I hadn't thought of it quite that way. Not to put too fine a point on it. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Jim Boeheim plans to step down in 3 years. Scott Boras rips the Cubs, and the Colts propose a crazy new extra point. But we begin today with the Kentucky Wildcats, who get going tomorrow night against Hampton. Kentucky is 6 victories away from the first unbeaten season since Indiana in 1976. Wilbon, are you rooting for history or heartache?
If Hampton had Rick Mahorn, I might start talking about some possibility for an upset. HU alum Rick Mahorn. But they
don't go crazy. Even with Rick Mahorn, don't go crazy.
Tony, I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for history to a point, and then I don't care. Then I'm off. Then you just let nature take its course, and you get what you get, because that's the excitement of it. You root for the possibility of history. I'm rooting for Kentucky, as I have since they went to be about, 10-0. I'm rooting for them to go undefeated and stay undefeated and get to the Final Four. After that, whatever happens, happens.
John Calipari said on this show the other day that he knows he's got the best team. He knows that. And he said, if we play well and we get beat, then I can live with that. And maybe he can. I don't think Big Blue Nation can. I mean, I think the expectation there is for them to win the national championship. And for me, if I'm filling out a bracket, and I know you share this opinion, if I'm filling out a bracket, everybody's picking Kentucky. I got to pick someone else. I want to see
You want to win. If you're a competitive person, you want to win pool.
I'm picking Arizona. Okay. I don't know all that much about Arizona, but I figure there's Arizona, Wisconsin, and Duke have a shot.
There's only a few schools now, 4 or 5 schools.
But what I want to see, and it's not so much that I'm rooting for heartache. I mean, for my own selfish purposes, yeah. But my doubt about Kentucky is the SEC. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Ole Miss won. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've undervalued the SEC. But I want to see them in close games with good teams.
I'm going to tell you,
I want to know they're great.
I know you felt this way, and it didn't work out so well for you to the last game. Indiana State. What did their conference have when they were going up?
They got all the way to the finals.
Yes, they did.
They did.
So I don't know about conference. Kentucky's the best team. This is a wonderful storyline. The tournament is better, having not just an undefeated team, but this undefeated team.
The Yankees.
One of the Royals, one of the Blue Bloods, and having Cal, who's unafraid to be out there and engage and let you know his team is great.
It is very easy to root for and or against Kentucky, because everybody knows Kentucky.
For them until they get to the national semifinal, and then you see what's up.
Backing away?
I'm done. I'm done rooting. I just want to see what happens at that point. It's historic.
That's gutsy.
It is gutsy. Syracuse announced this morning that Jim Boeheim is going to retire in 3 years. This has become an issue only because of the NCAA sanctions recently placed on Syracuse, and people wondering whether he might retire now or be fired. Boeheim played at Syracuse, was an assistant coach there for 7 years, head coach since 1976. Tone has begged several questions, including whether this announcement is closer to generous or harsh to the longtime face of Syracuse basketball.
I know you join me in wanting to be clear about this, that Jim Boeheim is Syracuse basketball.
Yes.
Every bit of fame, every bit of accomplishment, every ticket sold is directly tied to Jim Boeheim. Syracuse owes him an incalculable debt. In this particular case, I think Syracuse was closer to generous. The NCAA was harsh, taking away his all of those victories. But Syracuse was closer to generous, Mike, because they could have fired him. They fired the AD. Yeah. They could have fired him. Well, as much as we would have railed about it,
we would have.
They could have.
They don't have as much vested in any AD. Okay? Right. I mean, Jim Boeheim, as you just said, is Syracuse basketball.
That's right.
In a way that no other basketball program is identifiable Not one that long, not one that's been around 50 years or more.
Not now.
With one guy. Not even
now.
Dean Smith with North Carolina. There are other great people in the North Carolina program that you identify with. It's Jim. I know there's Pearl Washington and some other great players.
No,
it's Jim Boeheim.
It's Jim Boeheim.
And so they do owe him that. 3 years, Tony. What I wonder is this an announcement is sort of made to get everybody off of him right now? Is he going to really do 3 years?
I think he will. He's 70 years old.
Yeah.
He shows no sign of being anything other than a very good coach.
That's right.
His friend Larry Brown is 73 and coaching in the NCAAs. Here's what I think. I think he can win an ACC title. I know the scholarships have been reduced, but Jim Boeheim is going after players who are only going to stay 1 and 2 years anyway. Now they understand there's a 3-year window. He can go get players. I think he can do that. And I think that at the end, when he's written, his career is written about, this will be in it. The NCAA sanctions is going to be in it. But the larger story is going to be the accomplishment over so many years.
Particularly the closer to home you're writing that story. If you're in that part of New York, you know.
I know that
Jim
part
Boeheim is okay.
And by the way, if he wants to coach again, I'm sure Tommy Dempsey at Binghamton would love to have him sit at the bench. I'm sure of it.
What a pathetic recruitment.
What can I tell you?
Work that was.
The Knicks beat the Spurs last night in overtime. Afterwards, Greg Popovich went off, as usual, slamming everybody in sight. He said, quote, "We didn't respect the game. It was a pathetic performance, and I hope that every player is embarrassed," unquote.
It was.
On the other side of the gym, Derek Fisher actually said the following words, quote, "It symbolizes that we are growing, that we are moving in a positive direction," unquote. Wilbon, which way did you see it?
Well, I don't care about the Knicks right now. We'll get to the Knicks in future years. I don't care about them. I care about everything the Spurs and Pop do because they're.
But don't you think you want to say to Derek Fisher, ease off, Sparky?
No. I think you need to.
Nice win.
Look. They've been slapped around a lot, the Knicks this year.
Yeah,
It's okay for Derek Fisher to give him a little pat. I'm fine with that. But Pop, I mean, you get on Pop. What's Pop supposed to say? What's he supposed to say? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good losing to the sorry no account Knicks. Look, he did what a coach, any great coach, is supposed to do. He took out after his team after a bad loss. That's what he's supposed to do.
He can take after his team.
What do you want to do?
Here's what he said. Part of that quote was, "Not because we were supposed to win the game."
Well,
really?
we were.
Yeah, you're supposed to win the game. Because here's what you pretty much invented. I'm going to rest guys on the road against bad teams. He did not rest guys on the road against the Knicks.
When I first saw the score, I couldn't believe Tim Duncan was out there, and then I saw him out there.
Because it's possible that there was an Adam Silver sighting somewhere. So he plays everybody. So he's probably figuring to himself, I played my guys and we lost to this? We lost to this, I should have sat everybody.
And what's wrong with that reasoning? What's wrong with that sentiment? He should have sat everybody because the guys who would have been out there would have played so hard. They would have been happy to be out there to beat the Knicks because they've done that kind of thing before. I thought that Pop was going to sit guys last night. Last night's a
meaningless
time to do it.
We're at the wind down stage of the season. Meaningless game to San Antonio.
Although, I will say this. If you can finish 4th or 5th instead of 7th in the Western Conference, that might help.
The San Antonio Spurs are veterans.
They are.
They will play far differently in the playoffs than they have played to this point. You know that. You've said that all along. The Knicks, the only game in town with the Knicks is the over-under. How many people actually on the floor last night are going to be invited back next year?
2.
I would say 3 is the number on the over-under. You're going under?
But you know what? Stands were full. People were happy.
Stands
they supported the Knickerbockers.
They always do.
Gotta be proud of that.
They always do.
Get off Derek Fisher. Come on now.
And get on Derek Fisher. Just back off. I mean, this was not a sea change in the Knicks. Come on. What game was that? 14?
Winning one game's a
14
for them.
Woo! 14.
Tony Pop annoys you. Scott Boras annoys me.
He annoys me too.
All right.
Yeah.
A lot of people are annoyed by him. The agent for Chris Bryant, the #1 prospect in baseball, who at some point will make his debut for the Cubbies, yesterday accused the Cubs of, quote, damaging the ethics and brand of Major League Baseball, close quote, for even considering not having the 23-year-old third baseman slugger on the opening day roster. Speaking to USA Today, Boras ripped Cubs management for not really wanting to win, and he added, quote, they cannot send this guy down, close quote, as into the minors. Tone, does Boras make a persuasive case to you that the Cubs have to open the season with Chris Bryant?
I find myself largely agreeing with Scott Boras. It's a conflict for me because I think that his agenda is purely economic. But I find myself agreeing with him.
It is purely economic.
This kid is a great prospect. And no matter when he goes into the lineup, all the eyes in the country are going to be on him like they were a few years back for Bryce Harper, like they were a long, long time ago for Willie Mays. Now, Willie Mays, he was sent back down. Because it started out bad. I think he batted .077 for a while. When he came back up, he was the greatest player in the world. So this kid may have trouble. I can understand holding him out for 12 days in April to gain an extra year against free agency. But not mid-June.
Mid-June?
No.
Save millions and millions of dollars. This is what franchises do.
This kid is hitting
the whole
home runs.
NFL free agency talking about people saving millions of dollars who make billions.
No, he plays before June, don't you think?
Yeah, I'd play before June. I wouldn't listen to Scott Boras at all. Scott Boras has he is not invested at all in what the Cubs do. He's not, and he shouldn't be. Tony, he's there for his clients.
Yeah.
That's his sole agenda. That's what it ought to be, agent. So the Cubs, the easiest thing to do, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to say the Cubs aren't interested in winning. Cubs, man, you can say that. They've won for 108 years or whatever it is. So you can say that. And then the Cubs have to, as I'm sure Theo will, tune him out. Make the best decisions for this team. And which, by the way, the notion that you have to play him because they're going after the World Series. No, they're not.
Well, Joe Madden has talked about the World Series.
I don't care what they talk
and the
about.
defense against not playing him is that somehow he's not ready as a fielder. Let me ask you a question.
What?
If he can hit 45 home runs, when was the last time anybody said what a great fielder Babe Ruth was? Nobody cares about that.
But he's playing third base. Okay, he's going to play third base. And his arm is sore now. There's no reason to rush him.
Hit, baby. You hit him.
Not 45.
You hit him. People want to see it.
Craziness.
The Indianapolis Colts, the property of the mad tweeter Jimmy Irsay, have made a stunning proposal to the competition committee. If you go for 2 and you make it, you get a bonus kick from 50 yards out for a 9th point. You can get a 9-point touchdown. This is not a joke. This is a real proposal. Wilbon, what do you think of this?
What do you get if you kick it while blindfolded?
10.
What do you get if you have fake nose and glasses and an afro wig?
You get a free hamburger.
What do you get if you do it after taking 6 shots of Patron?
So I'm sensing
this
you don't like it.
So stupid.
Right.
This is so
Really?
Unbelievably gimmicky.
How can you say that?
It is stupid.
You think it's a gimmick?
Okay,
really?
You're going to agree. All right. Because when I heard this, I'm like, what are we talking? We're talking about this on this show?
If you're going to have a proposal like this.
We're talking about gimmicks?
Where you get 2 points and then you get a kick to get another point, then the commissioner should be Drew Carey. Because at this point, it's let's make a deal. Okay, this is, of course, it's totally absurd. The other part about it that I don't understand is this. Football, nobody says there's not enough offense. There is offense in football. People say there's no defense. So it's not like you need scoring. You don't need scoring.
Mess with the product.
It's a great product.
You've got the #1 product in America.
Yeah, I don't.
People will skip their own kids' weddings to watch a regular season pro football game. Don't mess with it.
So you don't like the idea of if you're down 18, you're only two touchdowns off.
Or again, if you wear the afro wig, you could just, you can make it. Why don't we just go for the 18-point play?
Let's take a break. But coming up, just how does this Kentucky team compare to the last team that went through undefeated, the 1976 Indiana team?
And later, 2 top seeds in the NBA play tonight, Atlanta, Golden State. But is it an important?
No, it's not, because it's interconference. It's not important. Nope. It has no.
Baseball season is here at last, and the excitement continues all season long at DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Why wait until the end of the season to claim victory when you can win huge cash every day? Hurry to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code PARDON to play for free. You could win part of the $300 million in prizes being awarded this season. Enter PARDON for free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
In a story we broke in our first block, Kentucky is trying to become the first team to finish the season unbeaten since the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers, and we welcome in a man who starred on that Indiana team, Pacers television analyst Quinn Buckner and Wilbon's idol.
The point guard.
And
ran the show, my idol growing up.
One of your many idols.
I wanted to be Quinn Buckner.
Well, you have no chance.
No,
you have no chance, 0. Let's start with this. Quinn, when you look at this Kentucky team, do you see a team that would be in your league with the Hoosiers in 76?
Well, I see a team that can go undefeated and win the championship. Whether it be in our league, that's for other people to really talk about. Because I'm subjective in it, and I really can't say. What I do think, as the way they defend and as deep as they are, they got a very good chance to be able to run the table. But, the tournament is one and done, and that's what makes it so unique.
Quinn, it is said that teams today have to deal with so much pressure. A lot of it's social media pressure, the 24-hour news cycle that can be so oppressive. What kind of pressures, if any, looking back, did you guys have, and were they different than the pressures that operate on Kentucky?
No, they're very different today. With social media and all of the various ways that people are involved in players' lives, they're very different. Coach Knight did a terrific job, I think, pulling different stunts, and I don't remember off the top of my head which kind he did, to make sure that he had a lot more of that pressure. But you got to remember, with social media, Twitter, you name all of the various ways that media can get to players, and really all they are doing is patting them on the back, making them think they have arrived. And I think John Calipari does a terrific job making sure these guys know you have not arrived, you haven't done anything yet. And as long as they can keep it in that perspective, I think that helps their chances.
Let's get to Bobby Knight for a second. He's one of the great all-time coaches. He is also known as being almost the #1 disciplinarian. In this world that we're talking about in 2015, could the Bob Knight that you knew in 1976, could that stuff work now? All that comes with being under the microscope of television and radio and print?
No, I don't think it would work in the sense that it worked then. Frankly, you've got a lot more people involved in young people's lives, and in that, they don't always get corrected. I don't care what you want to call it. I won't say reprimanded when they're young. So when you drive them or demand of them in a I won't say highly volatile, but in a very volatile way, some of them just shut down. So you're not apt to get nearly as good a player. Now, if you don't have nearly as good a player, you don't have a chance to be as successful. And I think that's one of the challenges that you would have in the system today. Tony, we were talking earlier, Mike Krzyzewski has figured that out, because Mike's pretty much a disciplinarian too. And what you find is how you manage young people and demand of them today is much different than it was even 5, but surely 10 years ago. And that really comes to the point where you're able to get them to play at a high level, but stay within some structure. Because the truth is, young people, all of us crave some kind of discipline. The way you apply that discipline is the most important thing, I believe, now.
Well, Quinn, let's take this a step further, because people wouldn't necessarily call John Calipari a disciplinarian, but you've gotten to know him and how he runs his team. How does Calipari fit into that equation with guys like Krzyzewski and Knight?
No, Cal fits right in there. I think what he's figured out with these young people is how to discipline and keep them in some line. The other thing that he has, I mean, in order to discipline people, they have to respect you. And the difference now when Coach Knight was coaching and what you have now, young people today expect you to respect them before they respect you. Now, in that, what Coach Cal has done is he's been able to gain their confidence, and that if he ever shows them some disrespect, it's clearly out of love, and they respect that. But he has gone, I guarantee you, he's gone to great lengths to get them to understand, I respect you, I respect what you do, but if you want to do what it is you want to do, and most of these young people want to come and play in the NBA, then here are the things that you must do. And because Calipari has had success in sending guys to the other level, Derrick Rose being among them, all of a sudden, that respect, that ability to get guys to do things that they don't like to do, all of a sudden, they're paying a lot more attention.
Glenn, we'll get you out of here on this, and emphasizing again that you were the starter and captain on the last great undefeated team in college basketball. Are you rooting for Kentucky to do it?
I'm rooting for you young people to have success. If that means they win the championship, great. They can have it. Because as I've said to many people who have asked the questions, you might imagine, all it says is that the Indiana team is not the last. What it can't ever take away, that team went undefeated. That team won a national championship. And the most important part of it, for my teammates, Coach Knight and myself, we're the national champions. And that's always going to be, regardless of whether it's the last undefeated or not, that's the national championship team you look at. Look in the history books in 76, winning the championship, it was Indiana, and that's important.
So no popping champagne like the Dolphins do? You're not going that far?
No, come on. These are young people that are trying to have some success. If they have success, why would you begrudge them of having success? No way.
Thank you so much for joining us, Quinn.
We
appreciate it.
No champagne. I was hoping I could get Quinn to buy some champagne, pop it if Kentucky.
Why don't you call Mercury Morris? Call him. All right? Let's take one last break. Still to come, the NCAA tournament continues tonight. Wilbon tries to pick one game correctly.
I think I was 0-2 last night.
Yes, you were.
And the Cowboys officially signed Greg Hardy. What does his contract say about the risk they are taking?
People know that Quinn played football, too. You think you can do better than Wilbon and me with your bracket? Go to ESPN.com and join the PTI Tournament Challenge Group.
Yeah, bring it, millennials.
Yeah, let's see something.
Yeah.
Happy time, people. Happy 27th birthday tomorrow to Clayton Kershaw. There's no doubt Kershaw is the best pitcher in baseball in the regular season. He already has 3 Cy Youngs and 4 straight ERA titles. But inexplicably, he's been tagged in the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Wilbon, is he Brady or Manning?
Tony, you can't unsee him getting lit up late in games, even if he's been great for 8+. You get lit up, and Brady doesn't get lit up, does he?
Happy anniversary, Michael Jordan. On this day 20 years ago, you announced your return to the NBA in a 2-word press release, simply stating, "I'm back." The next season, Jordan led the Bulls to their first of 3 straight championships, giving Jordan 6 and solidifying in his fans' minds the notion that he was the greatest basketball player of all time.
That first game back was in Indianapolis in Market Square Arena. They lost to the Pacers, and Jordan was booed. In Indiana, they booed him like you're supposed to boo an opponent.
Having trails BYU, the Cougars had a 17-point lead at halftime last night, only to see Ole Miss come storming back and win 94-90. Was there any coaching of BYU in the
Clearly
second half?
not.
Or were the players simply not listening? Wilbon, in your bracket, didn't you have BYU winning 2 games?
I had them winning 2 games, and that was so absurd a show of basketball. Tony, they were up 17. They came down throwing passes like they were the Globetrotters. What were they doing?
2 small errors. I said Syracuse fired their AD today. Technically, they reassigned him. And Wayne Brady hosts Let's Make a Deal. Drew Carey hosts The Price is Right. Wilbon gave me bad
Aren't
info.
they boys?
Quickly to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Greg Hardy and the Cowboys agreed to a 1-year deal. Your thoughts?
Tony, he's going to play somewhere. Why not in Dallas? Kevin Love going to return tonight since his 2 games off. Had nothing to do with his back. What's your theory?
Another body part, his head.
Oh.
Rory McIlroy, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Eli Manning all in the Augusta National Gym at the same time last week. Who would you like to work out with
They're all
most?
Golden Boys, but the Golden Boys. Yeah. Hawks and Warriors tonight is an important game.
No, fun game, not an important game. It's not in the conference.
No Klay Thompson, no Kyle Korver.
Last one, 2 more playing games tonight. Robert Morris, North Florida, Boise State at Dayton. Who you got?
Dayton 16-0 at home. I'm going to go with Bob Morris. Can I do that?
And Dayton, you can do that.
I'm over
We're
2.
out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
My son is 7. He's 2-0. I'm 0-2. I'm Mike Wilbon. We're off until Monday. Enjoy the tournament, knuckleheads. Check out the podcast on iTunes.
Listen to your son.
ESPN Radio, bringing you directly to the biggest events in sports.
Center field, well hit, Hunter back, out of here!
From opening day of baseball,
Throw to the plate, safe at the plate!
right through the World Series.
For the 3rd time in 5 seasons, the San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
Whether it's LeBron, Chris Paul, or Kevin Durant, when the NBA tips off, ESPN Radio is right there when a champion is crowned.
Have a new world champion. The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
And when the magic of bowl season arrives, ESPN Radio is your home for the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio.